Futureproof is sponsored by Carrot Events, showcasing your company values with high-impact, bespoke events. Hello, welcome to Futureproof, and thank you for joining me, Sarah Hopwood, as I continue these business television programmes looking at the all-important future. Do you know, they say that most of us actually think in the past, fewer people think actually in the present time, and even fewer people are actually strategically thinking ahead about their future. And this programme is not about frightening anybody at all. The whole purpose of it actually is to champion hope and to empower people by sharing nuggets of gold ideas, and I hope we have a bit of a laugh on the way. So I have some ladies back in the studio, and if you've been watching some of the earlier programmes, then I won't really need to introduce them. So I'm actually going to introduce them, and then I just want a little bit of clarity on the conversations that we've had so far. So first of all, I have Alison Jones in the studio. I've got Zara. Your surname again?
No, Joanna.
Joanna's
Really good colleagues do that all the time. It's my fault for having a daft surname.
Do you know what? It's because I'm calling her Zara because I'm in such awe of her, because we've had a hat of hers on here which has got royal connections, for goodness sake. So anyway, you can't forget her name because I've just said Zara, but it's Joanna, of course, and Faiza Shafiq, who is sponsoring the programme Carrot Events. And today's programme, I want to actually talk and hear more from Faiza, and we'll all probably be asking her some questions. But Alison, we've already covered some accountancy. Can you just give a summary of our conversations about the world of accountancy changing?
Well, funny enough, I think you just picked it up a minute ago. The accountants, even up to a couple of years ago, were always looking at the past, and that's because of the fact that we didn't have any software that was up to date. We weren't real-time information, which things like Xero are doing now. So we constantly looked in the past. But now it's so fundamentally different. We've got AI, artificial intelligence, which is helping us become more and more up to date. And now you'll find that the world of accountancy is all about the present and the future. We spend most of our time talking to our clients about what they're doing now, what they want to do in the future, and what we can do to help them. So accountancy has fundamentally changed, and it's fascinating because we get. I'm quite a nosy person, I think. Really, I think that must be the issue, because I spend most of my time talking to people and finding out what they're up to, and it's really interesting.
And without being funny, you want an accountant who is like that, because they make themselves current. You make yourself current by doing that, which is.
And it can't be boring because every business is so different.
Absolutely,
that's right. Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. And so Joanna, not Zara, Joanna, when you were in this, she is Zara, of course, the happy people. So when we were filming before, you talked about business sense and emotional intelligence just being so important. Can you say why? Why did you come out with that? What made you share that kind of thinking?
Well, it was when we were discussing in more detail last time round about how the technology that Alison and her firm now uses so different, and it's really freed people up to be looking forward and to be much more helpful to their clients. But within that, if you're advising a business, that means you're advising a person.
That's right.
And some people take advice better than others. You have to understand where that person's going. I mean, I know you know how complicated, for instance, family businesses can become.
Amazingly so.
So all of that stuff can come to the fore. So the customers are getting that just so much better value for money.
I think so.
So what they're feeling is that investment in them as a family, rather than literally just a book and coming out with results. There is that emotional connection
and the future.
Yes,
and I think that's where I think accountancy is.
It's where it's heading.
Brilliant career path as well. It always has been. It's opened so many doors for me.
Yeah, fantastic.
I agree.
Yeah, good. I'm really pleased to hear that, because some people, it is one of the fast changing worlds, along with insurance and other things, and it's really nice to hear that proactive stuff. But
I do suggest it's going to be one of the professions that's going to disappear in a couple of years' time, but I actually don't think that's the case, because I think that as a business person, you're always going to need someone to talk to. You're going to need a sounding board, and that's exactly what accountants are.
And someone you can trust.
Absolutely.
Yes. So Faiza, talking of someone you can trust, you know, you are a safe pair of hands for anybody wanting to put on an event, and I know you've got a lot of events coming up, but there's one in particular which I know is a big event. It's coming up soon, but it's actually really quite important too. Can you tell us more about it?
Well, in the world that we're living in today, in actual fact, the BBC had an article today saying about world climate and
Yes.
how things are changing, and the fires in Australia, as we all know and we're watching, is quite devastating. So it's a big business-to-business conference on the Friday, and then the Saturday and Sunday will be an open to the public and businesses, and it's the Lifestyle Expo. And so what the expo and the conference will cover is a different way of thinking for our future.
So this is Lifestyle.
No, Lifestyle Expo.
All right. And where is it being held?
It's going to be held in Brighton. It's to cover the southeast here
Yeah.
altogether, rather than going up to London. The big thing in the UK, there are a multifold of issues. For example, housing. We need to build homes very quickly. There's 1.5 million people awaiting homes. Building normal homes in normal ways is very, very difficult. So modular homes, pod homes, these kind of living things are what the future are looking at. They come in blocks ready-made and so on. The other thing about them is they have to be ecologically viable as well. So water filtration units with certain heating things. I could go on and on and on.
And do they already exist now?
They already exist. They have to be promoted even further. They're actually very, very economical to build, and will look after our future and our land here. And of course, let's talk about Sussex as a whole, but Brighton is a very tiny, I'm talking about one place within Sussex. Land space is at a prime. You have people that have quite big gardens that could possibly put an elderly mother or father or whatever
In a pod
home.
Yeah.
There is no building permission required for it, and it could be completely economically and eco home for them to live in. It could be for one of their sons, one of their daughters. Young people today are staying at home longer than they've ever done so.
Well, I've also heard that there is a trend where the young people stay at home, and then eventually they stay in that home, and it is their parents that then move out and technically downsize and leave the kids in the home.
Yeah, but
them.
could downsize into the garden
home.
area, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
When you're wanting to build an extension or wanting to build something more than the allowed parameters, I think is of 3 meters or something, you have to get planning permission. It becomes very expensive. You have to build foundations and so on. So the Eco Lifestyle Expo isn't just talking about that kind of thing, but it's talking about everything. It's talking about the future of motoring,
Yes.
vehicles. It's talking about our food chain and our food product. It's talking about saving our land life, our marine fisheries. It's covering every angle that to do with ecology and our lifestyle. And I think that's an event. I've got so many people so interested in it. It's unbelievable. We're going to have something like over 250 exhibition stands.
And so also, because it's a competition, we literally just have a minute, so we'll probably pick it up in the second half, is there are then categories which are then, there's opportunity for sponsorship. Can you give some idea of what some of those categories might be?
Well, it's not an awards event, although
So it's a debate.
Actually, I talked to somebody who's very interested in coming on board, and he said,
Right.
why don't you
Yes.
have the B2B conference on the Friday, but end it in the evening with an awards.
That's what I'm thinking, because awards then
Of businesses and of
motivate.
companies that are actually becoming very ecologically based.
Yeah.
So that's something we're looking into, obviously. The expo itself will be open to the public.
Cool. So do we have a date for this yet?
Yes, it's end of January 2021. It has to be launched now.
Yeah.
It takes a year
To get all this
get sponsorship, to get zone sponsors, to get stands booked.
Yes.
So there is that, to
Takes a lot.
exhibitors to come on board. You can't launch something like this and have it in
No.
2 months. It just
Stay
won't
with
work.
me, because we'll find out more after the break. But if you're interested, then do search it. It will be in Brighton in January 2021. So anyway, stay with us and we'll be back.
Thank you very much.
EQ, emotional quotient, is better known as emotional intelligence. It is a tangible tool that can sit alongside your services or your product, and it can be taught. Leaders with high EQ have less stress, they're more effective, and they earn more money. There's a great saying, just because we have pains, it does not give us permission to be a pain. I believe that teaching emotional intelligence has a direct impact on your sense of success and your net profits. EQ will empower you and your workforce to drive the change that you want. Change brings transition. EQ can help unpack what's holding you back and speed up that period of transition.